Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Church. Thank you all for joining us this morning, and thank you to all of our partners behind the scenes to keep our online space safe. We honor you. I'm Leah, and I'm so excited to be co-leading today's service with our minister, Reverend Sherry, our director of religious ed, Sheila, and members of this year's coming of age group. Here we are.
I'm Francesca. Welcome. In case you don't know what coming of age is a year-long experience in which we delve together into our faith more deeply, getting to know ourselves and Unitarian Universalism as our own.
Hi there, I'm Casey. Our monthly worship theme asks us the question, what does it mean to be called as Unitarian Universalists to open doors?
Hi there, I'm Harper. For us, opening doors means being called to empower one another.
Hello, I'm Chloe. Empowering one another. That's like I open a door for you and you for me, and that goes way beyond just our church community. It happens a lot in our lives here as UUs.
I'm Grady. Welcome everybody. Here at First Unitarian, we listen deeply to others and ourselves.
At First Unitarian, we open to wonder and transformation.
Serve together with love and humility. I'm Ben.
Good morning. I'm Aaliyah, Director of Coming of Age this year. After the service today, in the spirit of love, we hope you will stay online to meet with one of our youth in the breakout room. Share what's on your heart or just get to know the next generation of First Unitarians.
And hey, I'm Wayne, your Coming of Age assistant. Let's begin with a hearty song in our hearts, shall we?
I'm Sheila. Good morning. Please join us in singing our opening hymn, Morning Has Broken. Let's do this.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden someday. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
Please join us now as we light our chalice, first with our youth words, then adult. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift. May the flame we now kindle inspire us to use our power to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, and to seek liberation in the fullness of community.
So, a while ago, or maybe last Tuesday, this quarantine has really gotten to me. I had nothing to do. Aside from the work pile that was steadily growing in my inbox. And I did the most irresponsible thing a man like me could do. I blew it all off so I could play with this furry baby. And like any good pet owner, I chose a game that both of us could enjoy. Basketball. We had to modify the rules just ever so slightly. For me, normal rules still apply, but for Trixie, if she stole the ball or blocked any of my shots, it would count as if she made a three-pointer. Okay, you want to go. There were no casualties at all during this game, aside from a few crushed plants, but that doesn't matter. The decision I made for the changes is embrace the ideas of mutuality and equity. In this case, is the change is allowed for both of us to have fun. And isn't that why we come to church? To empower everyone and through mutuality. We don't need to talk about who won. Some of us cheat. I'm looking at you. We all come to church for our own reasons. Some of us come looking for a community. Some are looking for a fresh perspective. And some are forced to come by their parents. Share with us why you are here today in the chat, or share how you have helped others empower themselves in this community.
Since our worship theme today is opening doors, I chose a song that represents one of the biggest doors of them all. The door leading from being a child to being an adult, or simply put, coming of age. The transition is a long and difficult one, and this song illustrates that perfectly, while showing the ups and downs of moving on from childhood. I hope you enjoy. I'm in a clique, but I want out. It's not the same as when I was pitched. In the old days there was enough. The card games and ease with the bitter sound of blood. I was in, but I want out. My mother's love is choking me. I'm sick of words that hang above my head. What about the kid? It's time the kid got free. Be a part of the love club. Everything will go for you. Go get punched for the love club. For the love club. I joined the club and it's all on. There are fights for being my best friend, and the girls get their claws out. There's something about hanging out with the wicked kids. Take the pill, make it too ill. The other day I forgot my old address. I'm sitting pretty on the throne. There's nothing more I want except to be alone. Be a part of the love club. Everything will go for you. Go get punched for the love club. For the love club. Your clothes are soaked and you don't know where to go. So drop your chin and take yourself back home and roll out your maps and papers. Find out your hiding places again. The only problem that I got with the club is how you're severed from the people who watched you grow up. When you're a member, go on your great adventure again. And we'll be waiting at the end. We are part of the love club. Everything will go for you. Go get punched for the love club. For the love club.
Being a Unitarian Universalist is more than just coming to church. Being a UU is taking our values with us wherever we go. It's being part of a community where everybody's welcome. The first time I walked through those front doors, I wasn't actually walking, I was being carried. Now, I walk through those doors every Sunday, 15 years later. And every time I walk out those doors, I try to bring a part of church with me. When I was in 5th grade, my parents split up. I was doing my homework for OWL, the sex education program, about families. My mom asked if I had any questions about ours. When I found out they were getting a divorce, I cried on the couch,
for a long time. The next time I came to church, I felt the calmest I had since the news broke. I felt loved. I confided in some of my closest church friends, and they held me and loved me and supported me. Since I had that backbone, I could hold, love, and support my brother and sister, who would soon find out about the divorce. Accepting my parents' separation was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But by knowing that they're both great people, deserving of love, who just couldn't live together, I handled it pretty well for a 10-year-old. When the door on my parents' marriage closed, my door to understanding life and love opened a little farther. I'm confident I would have had a different experience if it hadn't been for my church family and what they've taught me. Last year, one of my best friends was in a similar situation. His dad closed the door on his mom. Through what I learned about empathy, forgiveness, and people during my own experience, I was well equipped to help him through a tough time in his life. When church helped open my own door, it allowed me to do the same for someone else. Now, both of us are past our obstacles, together, and it's time to open another door.
Be the water, not the waves. That's what my mama used to say. Oh, remember all your days, and be the water, not the waves. When up above there is a swell, know down below that all is well. I'll be a lighthouse in the storm, if you'll be my shelter, keep me warm. Be the water, not the waves. That's what my mama used to say. Oh, remember all our days, and everything will be okay. 'Cause we're the water, not the waves.
Now I want you to sit up straight with your feet on the ground. Become aware of your body and take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and take another deep breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Shrug your shoulders, loosen your body, let it become still. I want you to imagine a door of any kind. Notice the color, the shape. Does your door have a handle or not? Is it heavy? Does it swing freely? I want you to picture a light peeking out from under the door, where there is a crack between the door and the floor. Now move towards the door and notice the light from under the door begin to grow. As you move towards the door, take deep breaths in and out until you've reached the door. When you get to the door, I want you to reach out and touch it. Feel its texture, smooth, rough. Now I want you to open the door and go through it. After you've gone through the door, feel the sun, the source of the light. Its warmth touches your skin. Let it absorb you. Feel its happiness, its friendliness. It's willing to take you in. Feel the comfort and the safety of the warmth. The light slowly starts to fade, and we come back to reality. We are left back at our door. Go back through the door and take a deep breath as we come back to where we have started. Become aware of your surroundings, the comfort of your home. Notice the doors in your home, and I challenge you today, every doorway you go through, take a deep breath and clear your mind. Imagine how much happier our lives would be if every time we went in or out of a room, we allowed ourselves to take a deep breath, to clear our minds, to leave behind the stress and frustrations of a room, and continue our life in peace and happiness.
Let us join our minds and hearts together in hope. In life, there are times when we feel helpless. There are times when we feel weak. There are times when we feel like everything in life is out of our control. And sometimes the things that happen in this world are out of our control. We cannot control what happens, but we can control how we react. We can hope that things return to how they were. We can wish for doors to magically reopen for us. Or we can take action and force open the doors that have been sealed shut. Every act of kindness, every action that we take to ensure the safety of those around us during this difficult time is another push against one of the heaviest and hardest doors to open that we have ever encountered. Even though we have to stay 6 feet apart during this crisis, we have to remain true to the ties that bind us together. We have to remember that we are all part of the interdependent web of life. The decisions that we make never only affect us, they affect everyone. This is even more true now than it has ever been before. We cannot open this door, overcome this obstacle, if we are not in this together. It is impossible to open a door with someone on the other side locking you in. Right now, I am praying and invite you to pray with me that everyone is trying their hardest to push against this door that is causing death and distress all over the world and keeping us from our friends, families, jobs, and educations. Because if everyone pushes hard enough, this door will open, and we will have a whole new appreciation for all of the small things that we took for granted before. And this new appreciation will make the world a better place. May it be so.
Today's service is about mutuality. And the first point that I'd like to make is that racial injustice, police brutality, racism and oppression, all those things are not, they don't exist in a vacuum. They are not a Black people problem. These are everybody's problems. We as UUs affirm the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. The seventh principle, the respect for the interdependent web of all existence, means that it's not okay to live in a bubble anymore. We cannot act as if what is happening outside in the world isn't affecting us, and as if we don't have an impact on it. Talking to our children and making them aware of these inequities changes the future. It stops the cycle that has been perpetuated for generations in the US of people looking away and pretending like everything is okay, or maybe it's okay for them, but it's not okay for everybody. We have to stop perpetuating that cycle immediately. These are our children, these are our future. Coming of age, the program is bringing new UUs into the world, and it's important that the next generation of UUs know how to deal with racial injustice and know how to start addressing it, becoming more upstanders. I'm just going to close with one quote by Audre Lorde, who I've been reading lately. She said, your silence will not protect you. And looking away or pretending like this isn't happening, or thinking that by talking to your children about this, it will traumatize them, that's incorrect. Starting to talk about this will give them the tools to do that. Thank you.
Doors of learning. Credo means I believe, which is splendid, but there's one problem. I don't know what I believe. Sure, I know how I should act in real life, or what different beliefs care about, but if someone asks me just what I believe in, I can't tell them. This class, Coming of Age, focuses on yourself and reflection, and it helps me to be able to answer that question. It's a time to discover things about yourself that you didn't know, or to discover and learn about the other people in your group. I've had the best times this year and the worst times, and COA has been with me through both. I have learned how to self-reflect and am able to apply that throughout my life outside of this congregation. Reflection has helped me realize that when I'm sad, I tend to shut people out. And I can't say that I won't do that anymore, but what I can say is I will try not to, and I will talk to the people I trust about it so they can understand and support me how I strive to support them. This is what I believe in, learning about oneself and trying to help others do the same. This search for knowledge and learning how to interact with those around you is something I believe in. I believe in making the effort it takes to improve, to practice not hurting people, and if you make a mistake, I believe in having the strength to mend what you broke and getting back on the right track. And with that comes the fact that I believe in second chances. I believe that people are people. Yes, I know that most of you likely believe that as well, but what it means to be human is the part that matters to me. The ability to change oneself and make conscious decisions for themselves. With that, I believe that it is a person's responsibility to try their best for themselves and for others. Even if someone doesn't feel like it's a lot, it counts, and it matters. When you have a will, you can change the world. And when you can help change the world becomes a part of you, and you, it. That gives you the responsibility to help yourself and others, and in that process, the world. I don't know whether people are born good, evil, or neutral. But what I do believe is that each person has the power to affect others. And no matter how little power you give to other people and over how you feel, they'll always have a little bit. Instead of trying to put up a wall of not caring about what other people say and having indifference, I think that understanding the negatives as someone else's ideas is a better option. I've chosen to accept the negative things and accept them and then move past. Now, I still cry, yell, and get upset over many things in my life, but this mindset has allowed me to also see the beautiful things in life and the good in people. And that effort that I put in to be how I want to be is what makes me human. My ability to grow and learn from myself and others are things that I hold dear and what I strive to keep doing. So I can't tell you what is true for me because a book says it or there are scientific experiments to back it up. I can just tell you how I go through the world and what I strive for, what I believe about others and how that is true for me. My households function very differently and act differently. What I've learned from this is to be independent in what I believe. Being a Unitarian Universalist, for me, means being willing to teach and to learn, whether it's explaining my spiel for what exactly a UU is, or for learning how I can help someone. Being a UU means that I try and give my best effort to the life I have. I take care of myself and others and the world. And this balance is something that I have learned and will continue to learn as I grow. Thank you.
COA has opened a door to a community of like-minded people where I feel comfortable being myself and sharing my thoughts and feelings. In COA, we created a safe place to share experiences and grow together. It also helped to open my eyes to new fun activities like doing the ropes course.
This year during COA, many doors to understanding myself and others have opened. The most significant experience that opened doors to understanding people was the day that we shared our obstacle projects. Each one of us shared difficulties that we struggle with and work to overcome. Seeing how each person, no matter how they acted on the outside, having difficulties and being able to share that with one another allowed me to realize that no matter how a person acts on the outside, each one of us has difficulties that they're dealing with.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah. I am the director of COA this year, and a door that opened up for me during the COA year was the last day of OWL. It was our culmination meeting where we kind of celebrate doing 3 or 4 years of OWL. And as I looked around the room and listened to the young people speak, I was just filled with joy and pride that these 14 and 15-year-olds can use language like respect, responsibility, and relationship when talking about their sexual health and with other people. in a way that I know most adults can't do. And they've just filled me with so much pride and joy. And I also want to say that they've been kind of like a bright spot in a very dark time in this year.
A door that opened for me with coming of age was getting closer to my church family. I love these people, and being around them for the whole year, talking about such important things, really made us a close-knit group.
This year, in coming of age, a door that has opened for me was a deeper understanding of my core values. From the first day when we wrote our covenant to the creation of our credo statements this spring, I have grown as both a group member and a person. Writing the credo statement was a defining moment for me because it showed just how much I have grown and how that growth has shaped my core values. It allowed me to envision a future for myself where I would take more actions to demonstrate these principles. I have always aspired to become a doctor. My credo statement made me think about how I could use the skill set that I will acquire by working in the medical field for good, for instance, joining Doctors Without Borders. The idea that having a moral code is useless if your actions don't correspond with them has been one of my key takeaways from coming of age this year.
There were definitely many prominent days in COA this year, but one of the ones I remember best is the day we did the outdoor ropes course. I had attempted to do ropes courses before that, but the last time I managed to be brave enough to actually step onto the course was when I was much younger. So it came as a surprise to me when I managed to walk on ropes and hop through platforms many feet in the air with little to no fear. I even dangled in midair in my harness. I thought a lot about what made that situation different from all the others I had been in where I chickened out. The answer was surprisingly simple. It was outdoors, while the other ones I had failed in doing were indoors. All it took was a change of environment to make a massive difference. Something about being outside, for whatever reason, made me far more comfortable and allowed me to succeed. I realized that this general principle applied to COA and our church as a whole. Different environments lead to different levels of comfort and success in different people, and COA has provided an environment which has allowed me to learn and feel accepted. Thank you to my peers and the COA leaders for giving me a great year.
Oh, hi there. At the end of the first day of sharing our obstacle projects, I thought everyone felt a little vulnerable. We all had an idea of what most of us had been through as obstacles in our life. At the end of it, I suggested we all have one big group hug of understanding. This was a very empowering moment for all of us because we understood what everyone had gone through and where everyone was coming from.
A door that opened up for me during COA was while we were sharing our credos. I noticed myself opening up, which is something I don't find myself doing very often. I'm a pretty shy person and I like to listen and not say anything. While everybody was sharing their credos, I realized that although we have different beliefs, we share our 7 principles, and most of us actually have a lot in common. We aren't that different. We grew up coming to church every Sunday, walking through those doors, and walking on better people because of it. When I was younger, I didn't go to this church. My family lived in North Carolina and went to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Charlotte. We moved when I was in 3rd grade, and I had to leave behind the church where I grew up, all of my church friends, the tire swing, and the big playground in the back. The hardest part of moving was making new friends. I didn't like coming to church because I didn't have any friends here, and I couldn't say that I did until this year. Coming of age didn't only open up the door to opening myself up, but opened the door to saying that I might actually have a couple friends.
Hi, I'm Wayne. This is the door I'm coming through. The door we came through in coming of age class. For me, the big day was the obstacle day where our class revealed so much about themselves to each other and shared so much for their obstacle project. And it brought us all together in the amazing, amazing group hug. And that group just bound together. That was the door that we came through that day. Loved it.
A door that opened for me this year in COA was definitely the ropes course. I was hanging upside down by my hands and my feet underneath this giant log, and I look over to see which youth might be left in this challenge. And there's Grady. She didn't even look like she was sweating at all. And I thought to myself, the new generation of Unitarian Universalists have arrived. Ours is not a simple faith. It is not an easy faith. And these youth rose to the challenge that day in terms of their support of one another, their risk-taking, their mutuality, and their capacity to enact our principles with any element that was thrown at them. And that, to me, was the door that opened in recognizing these youth are our future.
I invite you now into the spiritual practice of generosity. Each week we designate half of our offerings for an organization and one for the general support of our church program, in which coming of age is one. As some of you may know, our church has a long-standing relationship with schools 15 and 22 here in the Rochester City School District. Our UU School Partnership Program just allocated about $6,000 in grants to teachers to support needs and supplies for continuing to educate students online. We would like your financial support to give our partnership ministry the ability to respond to teachers with needs that no other funding stream can fill, especially as they prepare for whatever challenges they may face heading into fall. Please give generously.
As our congregation's religious ed director, I give witness to the fact that the truth is that what we do in our RE program is really only part of what nurtures a child's religious identity over time. The primary religious educators of any child and of these teens are the adults in their lives who have committed themselves to bringing up their children in this faith tradition. Parents of these coming-of-age youth, you too are in part coming of age today. Your promise to your teen in dedicating them in this religious community is in part complete. You have, along with our support, tried to provide them the gift of a liberal religious upbringing. In all that you have done, you have lived as an example of this faith for them, and the way that you've created your household, the priorities you have set as a family, the experiences you have shared with them, and the difficult decisions that you've made teaching them our Unitarian Universalist values over time. What courage and what steadfast faith that you have shown in the face of so many parenting challenges in the world today. It is most fitting then that the real rite of passage, the real rite of passing on this flame, be marked by you.
Teens, you're invited one by one to light a smaller chalice from your parents to symbolize your commitment to continue to grow this light of our faith in your own life, to listen, to open, to serve. Don't worry, you are not alone. Your loved ones have prepared a secret collection of letters from those closest to you to remind you of this and give you wisdom.
As each teen's name appears on the screen, I would ask any relatives, close friends, RE, travelers, workshop leaders, volunteers, and community members who have been part of their growing up to reach your hands out towards the screen and offer your special blessing of connection with them. Here are the 2019-2020 Coming of Age youth and the rite of passage with their parents.
We have a tradition here at First Unitarian when we dedicate our babies and small children into this community. We as a community affirm that we will be the type of village that it'll take to help raise these children. We do so essentially to let parents know that they are not alone. And it's our tradition here to continue to reaffirm this commitment at coming of age. We do so not only to celebrate the achievements of our young people. It is no easy task to spend a year wrestling with your deepest values and what matters most. It is no easy task, and yet they have done it. But we do this to remind you, our coming of age youth, that you are not alone. We know that teenagers, just like adults and our smallest children, make big mistakes. Navigating the wider culture and all that life has to deal out is difficult. And we promise you that you will not be forsaken. So I invite everyone to greet our coming of age youth during coffee hour with your own encouragement and personal blessings. But right now, let's rise in body or in spirit, and let's join in recommitting ourselves to these youth as they come of age. Please shout an enthusiastic yes if you agree. We, as a community of faith, recognize the commitment that these youth have shown in this coming of age year. Do we pledge to support their ongoing spiritual development with us? Do we pledge to cherish them? Do we take seriously their place in the long stream of Unitarian Universalists who have come through this place, come through this tradition? Do we commit to support them in living mindfully and loving faithfully as they navigate the world? And in our actions with them, do we pledge to be transformed by them? Do we pledge to work towards mutual liberation by listening, opening, and serving every day? May it be so.
As a sign of our promise, our congregation blesses each one of you with a chalice necklace, sign of our living tradition, symbol of our beloved community and its strength, compassion, and joy. Wear this as a reminder close to your heart that you are forever welcome in this circle.
Chloe, Ava, Francesca, Lea, and Casey have also formally decided to join First Unitarian as official members. These newest members will be sharing their time, talent, and treasure with us and our community. Today we offer them the simple chalice, a symbol of our faith. Within it burns, as in you, a light that no one else can bring. We are so blessed by your presence and your commitment to our community. Welcome.
Please join me now in singing Sing Out Praises for the Journey. Sing out praises for the journey, pilgrims we who carry on. Searchers in the soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. Look inside your souls, the kindling of the heart fire pilgrims new. Find the Spirit always restless, find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for a new-found faith. Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Earth behind us, wayside hostel, built by those who knew wild roads. Guard we ere their sacred embers, buried in our minds and hearts.
Now, please join me in unison for our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, if you would join me in a practice we do at the end of every COA meeting. Please cross your right hand over your left hand like this, and imagine you are connected in a very large circle with everyone else on this call. Hold your hands there so you know you are held in this circle of love. Now, take a big breath together. Whatever door we can open, let us open it. Encouragement has power, hope, and liberation in it. May we cross every threshold mindfully and faithfully. Ramen.